Yo, hey guys, welcome to BBTechWiz. Thanks for joining me on my first YouTube video. Today we're going to be talking about creating a home Linux server on VirtualBox using an OS of Ubuntu server. So we're going to jump right into it and get going. So thanks for joining me and let's get started. Alright, so first things first, we're going to open up VirtualBox. I already have it installed here with a link on my desktop. You get into VirtualBox, you'll see I have a couple things here. I have an Ubuntu server I've already built running. We're going to create a new one by clicking this little blue, I don't know, kind of looks like a blue explosion button, says new. Click that. Um, we're going to name it, we'll name this YouTuber test server, and I'm going to leave it in the C drive under users in my, um, the default folder there, and then click next. Gives you a memory size here, create a virtual size. The recommended memory is 1024. Since I'm not really going to be using this just to show you guys, I'm going to keep it at 1024. You might want to up it to a minimum of 4 gigs, I would recommend. So we'll click next. Create a virtual hard disk now. That's what we want to do. So we're going to leave that checked. Click create. We're going to use the VirtualBox disk image. Click next. So fixed size or dynamically allocated, you can make your choice here. Dynamically allocated kind of gives a little description here. It'll only use the space as it fills up. I'm going to stick with that. It's kind of nice. That way you're not using a fixed size that you might not need. And then we're going to click next. Then here the size, the storage size. So default is 10 gigs. I recommend, we're doing a Linux server, so it takes less space, but I'd recommend upping that to, I recommend generally 30 to 40 gigs when if you're doing some web hosting and things like that with a web page and an application. But we'll go 10. We'll click create. All right. So you see YouTube test server powered off. If you right click on that in VirtualBox, we're just going to click start and do a normal start. Spinny wheel. Now, select startup disk. So we're using Ubuntu server here. So all VirtualBox is asking for here is an ISO image or a virtual disk image of what OS you're going to use. So the good thing about Linux is it's free, open source. So we're going to punch in Linux Ubuntu server download into Google, click enter, do the search. You'll see this get Ubuntu server download. This is what we want. Not going to use that one. I'm going to click here so it actually gives me the download link. Here's a link. Download Ubuntu server. We're going to click that. That should be, there we go. Okay. That's downloading the ISO file. So we'll wait for that to be complete here. Okay, so that downloaded and I clicked it open. You can see in my downloads here, it's 10:52 right now. This is Ubuntu server, live server AMD. Did a test download earlier. See, that's this one here, but it's the same. It's just a copy. So that's what we need in the downloads folder there. But we'll go back into VirtualBox here. And if you click this little folder here, you can attach a file here. So we're going to click not attached, or I guess you don't really need to click it, and we'll just click add. And when we go into add, it gives us the option to click the ISO file we just downloaded from Linux. So let's click open. All right, now we see that there, Ubuntu server, the one is the copy one I made. So we're going to click that, and then we're going to click choose. Now you can see that's selected here, where that's our startup disk. We'll click start. See it's booting up here. Try or install Ubuntu server. You have clicked the mouse. Yes, we'll capture. So now we can select and we'll click enter. Try or install Ubuntu server. All right, then we see all this setup being installed. So we'll just wait on that here. Should be relatively quick until the next step. Okay, so everything loaded through. Just gonna exit out of this little pop-up auto capture keyboard. We're gonna select English here, just click enter. It gives us layout variant, keyboard layout. We want English. That's all I speak, unfortunately. Click next, or done, rather. Click enter. Ubuntu server minimized. The default check there is the server. That's what we want. Click enter. Configure at least one interface the server can use to talk to other machines. Ethernet is selected. We're going to leave that just the default there selected. Proxy address, we're not using proxy address, so we'll just click done. Mirror address, just leave that default. We'll click done. Now, we're going to use entire disk. We're just going to leave default to use as an LVM group. Then click down till we get to done. Click enter. And then this gives a summary here of everything we kind of selected, went through. Should be all set. Shows the different partitions there on the bottom and the allocated storage. Looks good. Let's click enter on done. Selecting continue below will begin the installation. I would really enjoy that, so we'll click continue. All right, now we get to name it. So my name is we'll go on this one, BBTechWiz. Your server's name, we'll call it YouTube server test. Username, we'll call it BBTechWiz. And then with the password, I'm not going to tell you guys. I like you, but not that much. Click done. Do I want to install SSH, Open SSH server? Now for development, this is generally really nice. In the past, I've used things to connect in with SSH like VS Code, and it's really nice to have that option. So we're going to click enter there, and then we're just going to scroll down to done and click enter. Do we want any extra packages? Well, with Linux, the good thing is you can install these at any time, so we don't really need them. We'll just leave it default for now, since we don't know what we're using it for, and we'll click enter on done. Now, installing system, little red bar on the top there. So, the fun part here is just sit here and wait. So, you'll just sit here and wait, see what happens. Let it install. Alright guys, so the install completed. You see the red banner on the top there. It says install complete. That's what we want. And we'll click the down arrow to reboot now, and we'll click enter. We'll see rebooting. You're seeing a couple faileds there for failed unmounting CD-ROM, which is okay. Please remove the installation medium, then press enter. All that's referring to is if you click machine and you click settings, I believe storage, you see the controller empty. That's what we want to see, so we're good. I think we can just click enter here and then wait. Just let it sit here for a second, and you'll see they're rebooted. I think we're good. The server just restarted. Let's let it load up and see what happens here. Welcome to Ubuntu. It's mounting some stuff. Should be bringing us to the login soon. Alright, there we go. So I'm going to click enter. It says YouTube server test. That's the name of our server. Login. Our login is BBTechWiz. So we'll click enter. It's going to prompt us for a password. Login incorrect. Let me double check that was my login. So yeah, important lesson there, guys. Make sure you remember username and password. Write it down somewhere. That was just a test server. I clicked my other server just to log in here, just quick to show you. Once you log in with your username and password you created, you'll see your username and then your server name. So my username at my server name. Alright, so we're logged into the server here, and I wanted to that's the point of the video, but just to show you some simple Linux commands in the server. Just check it out. ls shows the files in this folder. There's nothing in here, so we can go back a directory, and then we can hit ls and we'll see the bbyard folder. We want to move into that. We'll do that. Or there, nothing in there. Then we can go clear the terminal. So yeah, that's how to create a home Linux server in VirtualBox with Ubuntu server. Thanks for joining my channel, BBTechWiz, in my first video here. So I'd appreciate a subscription, like, support, anything you guys can do as I get going here. So appreciate it. I'll see you guys on the next video.